Hey everybody, welcome back to the Felecia Bella Show. I've got with me Tamisa
Hello.
Spear, my cohort here today, and we're
Yes.
finishing up our first, this is the second part of the interview
Yes.
of behind the scenes at Felecia Bella. And
How we
Lyle.
all came to be
That's
together.
right.
I
That's
guess.
right. And I'm trying to remember exactly what we said on the last segment.
We know it's important. We're proud you watched it. Make sure to go on there and like and subscribe.
Definitely.
Yes. Yes, I think last time we talked about how I kind of came to Felecia Bella and how long you've been in business and stuff. So I think this segment, it would be great to go with you and kind of learn your behind the scene, I guess.
Okay. As far as when you say behind the scenes, you mean as a business owner?
Yes.
Or just as a person, as a
We can
business
do
owner?
both.
Okay.
Just do what for a business owner.
Okay.
What is your
How
day?
did I
What
start?
do you do? Yes.
You want me to tell how I started?
Yes.
Okay, I started approximately 20 years ago now, and I started with $250 and a big dream and a whole lot of faith. And I started kind of in the jewelry business, mainly doing shows and
You
pop-ups.
think jewelry?
Nah, I like jewelry. You know what? It's so funny you forget. It's so second nature to us now that people see us and I know they think, what do they think they're all
What?
that in a bag of chips
Yeah.
because they got all these jewels
Well, we
on.
are, but yes.
But you know what I know, but you just, it's just second hand.
It
It's
is.
just second
It
nature.
is. It
It's
is.
like putting your underwear on at this point.
Yes.
But I started with that, and I had no idea as far as having a vision board or anything like that. I just knew that I loved fashion and I loved clothing and I loved helping women and making a difference. So I just kind of started and it just sort of evolved, basically, is what it boils down to. And it's kind of funny because where I am now and where I was then, it was like, I need some more of that.
Easy go spirit.
That what?
Easy go spirit.
That or maybe like that roll with it kind of thing.
Yes.
Because I think up till, I've been in so many different locations. We've had the store at Rutherford. We've had 4 locations in Jackson. We have the location in Union City, and then of course since COVID, the pandemic, we've really branched out into online and social media.
Yes.
But I think behind the scenes, gosh, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Personally, I am a very creative person, and honestly, to really do the book work and the paperwork and all of that kind of stuff, I've had to learn to. Granted, I have an amazing accountant and I have good people around me, but that is really not my gift. So I'm still waiting to that point that I can really delegate that all over, because it's like trying to write, like we talked about a while ago before the show, it's like trying to write left-handed when you're right-handed.
Yes.
And people look at you. When I first started Felecia Bella, there were very few boutiques out there. I mean, we were really like a forerunner.
Store boutiques.
Exactly. There was just very, very,
There was
very
no
few.
online, was it?
No, hardly at all. Hardly at all. Amazon had never even been heard of. I mean, God, I'm sounding old, but I mean,
I get it.
we had flip phones for the love. We didn't have phones with
We
4
didn't have
high-tech
internet.
cameras and that sort of thing.
No
on it.
internet on it.
No, so it was strictly.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was like you were your walking billboard or your personality or who you were, and then your customers sharing
Yes.
you with the world. And I think, truthfully, I'll add a little bit to that right now going backwards, but I think we need to get back to that a little more, because so many people now think it's like fast fashion and it's like the quickest and the easiest and the whatever, when there's no like grounding or loyalty to it. But I built the business, and I'll never forget one year I hired a coach, and I had just bought the building in Rutherford, and we had it so, I was so particular about how I wanted it to look, the paint, the doors, the dressing rooms, everything. And the coach came to coach me, and he put it in his Google, the old address, which we had just moved out of, and we had all these god awful sheets all over the windows. And he peeked through there, and there was all these hangers like all over the place. And he said, when he finally came around and figured out where I was, because he called me, he said, I thought, dear God, she doesn't need a coach. She needs to call it quits. But little did he know how much work he had cut out for himself, because he was funny. He would run the numbers. He was such a numbers guy. And he would run the numbers, and he would go, how are you doing this? I said, listen, I don't know. God takes care of it. I don't know. All I know is I just like pretty stuff. We buy what we need to buy. We do what we need to do. But I knew going into this that it was not like a hobby to me. It was a passion, and it was what I was supposed to be doing. And I just feel like that Felecia Bella, the part of it, to me, is so touching women's lives and helping them and making a difference. And everybody looks at it because, you know, with social media now, with everything now, we look at things and I think we think how easy stuff is. We make it look really easy. It is not easy.
It is not.
It's one of the hardest things you can do. It's not like just go online and buy
You don't just look pretty all day.
right, a $15 shirt and sell it for $30.
Yes.
And, you know, you get one for yourself and two for your friends, and it's just that's not the
thing.
business world. It's a real legit business.
You actually have responsibilities. You have liabilities. You have things that I think differs from us to them. I'm just throwing this out there myself. Is you actually have the employees. You are changing more than just the women's lives. You're changing your employees as well, where they don't have employees. So their overhead is not as large.
Well,
you have so much more responsibility because you have the other on your back, is what I'm saying.
well, we have the stores and we have the warehouse and we do have a team, and just like when we're filming right now, we just got through with the ice storm and we were closed for several days. Well, that means 0 sales.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's things people don't think about. That's
praise
what I think
God.
You need to talk about.
I will. Yeah, and you just ask me anything. But praise God, I have turned that $250, and I have been blessed to be debt free, because I believe in giving, I believe in sowing, and I know that's the answer, the key. But still, when I go to bed on Monday night and we're closed Tuesday because it's iced out, and I've got hourly employees that aren't going to get paid, that bothers me. It really it hits home, you know. And so there's so many obstacles, which everybody has obstacles. I get that.
Yes.
But once you make this commitment, the decisions you make and the actions you take and the things you do don't just affect you, they affect others.
They affect everybody's lives that are around you.
And my whole thing is that I want our people, the employees, to be blessed. I want them to have good income and not just be
getting by.
Yeah, exactly, because we all are deserving of the best, you know. And I carry products that are a little bit more pricey, and it's not because I mark them up millions of dollars. It's basically just because we try to carry things that are better quality,
unique, different.
Exactly. And I don't know, it's been a journey. But you were talking about, yeah, there's been times that I was like, dear God, are we going to make the rent? I mean, I remember when COVID hit, I called my landlord in Jackson, and I was like, because we literally got shut down, and spring had just hit. We had gone to market in February, and it started hitting in March, and that's when they shut the doors in Jackson. You guys were drive-by, basically. You were still somewhat open, but you were, you know.
It was curbside only.
Yep, we got
and we had just at the store, I would like to say, when I say set, brought in all new merchandise, reset the floor for spring. A week later, they shut us down.
And I'm going, Jesus, what do we do?
And we just brought all this new merchandise in here, and this is our busiest time. Easter, weddings, and everything. The world has just stopped now.
And here I had all these employees. This was before PPP came out and all of that, the rent, everything. Not to mention cost of goods. You know, when we have a $2,000 day, that's not $2,000 clear cash by any stretch of the imagination. Most of that's cost of goods, you know, and
It's
then
gone
after
before it comes in.
exactly. And so immediately what I did was the crew that was out here helping me, I was like, get on the phone with our vendors that are like 90 days or 30 days. I need 60 days. I need 90 days. I need 15%.
Whatever they're willing.
I need anything they'll give me, just do it. And up until that point, I had never, ever, ever, ever paid a dime's interest, praise God. But during that time, I had to come to grips with my mind.
Yes.
Because another little background of me, my dad was killed in a farming accident, and he was pretty, at that time, a pretty good sized farmer around here. He never owned a credit card. He had, you know, loans from the bank. And when he passed, the cows were hawked, the feed was hawked, the farm was hawked. It's a miracle I wasn't hawked, and nobody knew it. So I had been through that. So that was like a very traumatizing thing in my mind. And so I was like, I don't ever want to get in a position. Of course, the farming went bad, same kind of scenario almost, but yes and no. But anyway, so in my mind, it was like, oh my God, you can't do that. You can't go into debt. You can't have to do that. But I had to come to grips with myself, like, Felecia, if I owe $20,000 on this credit card this month and all I can pay is $5, then that's what I got to do. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And you know, I started this business with, I'm a very, very spiritual person, I have a lot of faith. And I try to really pray about stuff, and I really felt like I was very much led by the Spirit of God and showing me how to maneuver and, you know, operate and that sort of thing. But we survived and we made it through, and we're still coming through. I'm not going to say things are great and rosy, because they're not. But you know what? They're going to be, because our heart's right, our motive's right, all the things that we've done, I feel like, are on the up and up. I've had plenty of opportunities to cheat and to do things that were wrong. I've had a lot of folks I've had to really forgive that I've been stolen from, lied to.
Yes.
And that was hard. But you know what? I look back now, and I probably wouldn't trade any of that for anything.
That was a path you had to take.
Exactly, because it's called dying to Felecia. It's dying to your ego and yourself, and more about serving others and caring about others and making a difference. But yeah, it's just, that's really how these podcasts, I think, came forth, because of the situation that happened with you. Because sometimes, and I'm not saying that to all y'all, but sometimes people look at us and they think we're just rolling. And I pray we are, because if we are, baby, you'll be the first ones to
and I'm proud we look at
free stuff. You know what I mean? How many times, remember the Christmas, the Black Friday, that morning I caught,
Oh, that was the best day. That was the most fun
you
I've
had
ever
the story
had.
of it, though.
Yes.
But
when it was Black Friday, and Felecia called, and she said, your 10th customer gets their most expensive gift free.
What they were going to buy.
Whatever they bring up to the counter. And I happened to help them, and I didn't know when we went, but when I saw that my ticket had a number 10 on the top, I knew I had that. To give that news, those people were so appreciative, and they became customers. I mean, like the
but that's not why
mother-in-law.
I did it. I mean,
No,
it
but but she appreciated it.
Yeah.
I mean, Felecia has a big heart, and that's one thing I learned about her when I went in business with her or started working for her, is that she gives and gives and gives. I remember when we first, let me tell you this, then we'll go back to that one. When sometime after you hired me and you called to check to see how things were going and stuff, and however it was then, and I was telling you or whatever, and you said, listen, always remember, it's not all about the money. We have to have it, but it's about how the women feel. And I'll never forget that. And I was like, it is, but we gotta have, because remember, I'm that straight arrow person. I'm like, but she said, the money will come. You do your job, you help the women to feel beautiful, and it will all come in order. And 11 years later, we're still going, and
But the 10th customer, you
yeah,
have to tell the story
10th, it
because
was
she
so
had those
exciting.
boots.
She had boots, and
They were like $400 boots.
yeah, and the husband talked her into not purchasing them. And when I say they're the 10th, I want to say get the boots, and she did not.
She
get the
couldn't
boots.
tell her why
No.
because
Because it was a surprise.
A surprise.
It was this way this was given. All the customers at Jackson knew I had them, and they were up there making themselves busy at the counter because they could not wait to see. And her husband talked her into putting the boots, cowboy boots, back up. So she wound up getting another item. And when I told them, because they looked at me and they went, if she'd have got those boots, those would have been free. I went, yes.
I love shell shocking people.
Yeah, it was a shock, but that was so. I felt when Felecia called that day, she was like, "So is the 10th coming in?" And we were like, "Yes." And I was so thankful to help them. It was the most exciting, and to be able to give to people, whether they can afford it or not, has nothing to do with it. It's that power, and that's what the company I think
love
is.
to do that. That's my goal for Felecia Bella, to
She
become
can call
one of the
us.
biggest philanthropists.
Well, you can call us and say, we've got to buckle down and we've got to do this, we got to do that. And then the next day or two, she'll call back and say, oh, so the so-and-so customer, we're going to give them $1. What? Why are we doing? Because we're giving. And that's why. And she comes up with them like, all right, here we go. Let's do it.
But it's been a journey. It has been quite a journey. And I think you have to just be led by what the Spirit of God's telling you. That's the bottom line to it. Now, having said all that, going through what we've been through, I feel like sometimes you lose that creativity, you lose that ability to really hear and to move forward. And hopefully now, coming into 2023 and the I Got You Girl is really, I feel like, I told you last night, something shifted. February 1st, something shifted. I've quit 50,000 times, and then I look in the mirror and go, Felicia, you can't quit. You got too much going on. You got too many people depend on you. You got too much this.
You got this, girl.
Yeah, I got you, girl. But I think just, and we're blessed. I mean, we just got through doing an interview out here, and I was sharing about how we're so blessed with our vendors, our suppliers, our customers. Of course, not even talking about the employees, but we're tight. We're just blessed. Yeah, we are. We really, really, really are. And I think, I mean, I'm more than willing to help anybody that wants to start a business. I don't know that I'm the greatest numbers person. My accountant doesn't think so. I don't think sometimes. She goes, Felicia, I don't know. Just look on the statement. I can't tell you. But my journey at Felecia Bella has always been a faith walk. And you know what? I think I was taking a class yesterday of a church that I'm a member of online that's really amazing. And she was teaching about how God blessed the people the most when times were turbulent. That when times were easy, you just don't really read much about it in the Word. But when times were turbulent, that's when people grew, and that's when things changed. And I feel like I'm Gumby. Some of you guys may be too young to remember Gumby, but he got stretched. And I feel like from 2019 till 2022, the end of 2022, we've been stretched so far. But I feel like something really has shifted. And I think being transparent, telling the truth, you know. I made a post yesterday. I was like, I woke up in the morning and it was like I had this post like, okay guys, go to our website and shop today. Use this code because we're iced in. We have no customers. The rent's due. The utilities are due. Payroll's due. Cost of goods is due.
So you definitely are benefiting today.
Yeah. So today's your lucky day. And you know what? That was a God idea because we had a lot of orders come in. And then I had the idea for the girls to do the sell-a-thon, like a marathon, which is what they're in the process of doing now on each of their private, like Union City VIP page. on the Union City Felecia Bella page and the Jackson VIP page. And what they're doing is they're going for people that can't come in the stores. They're going through each rack and they're showing what's on sale. But these are the things you have to do, is you have to get creative. Because I don't have a fat daddy up there giving, well, I do. I don't know that he's fat, but God's not fat. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be creative. With Felecia Bella, we literally change stuff on a dime. We may, what works and what doesn't.
Time to throw it out if it don't.
That's right.
Move on and go on.
That's right. And, like I said, we do have some of the best customers in the world that are so loyal. But they love y'all. I mean, y'all are the hands and the feet and the eyes of Felecia Bella. I mean, I'm out here most of the time.
But you're the merchandise.
Well,
she's the what brings them in. We may help keep them, but you're what brings them in.
I'm the artsy fartsy.
You are. You are.
I like putting crazy stuff together.
And we can probably think about it.
Uh-huh.
You started with $250.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many companies that have been in business as many years as you've been in business. That can say that. That's amazing to me. Every time you tell that story, I get chills because it is the most
it's
amazing
the honest to
thing.
goodness truth. And
I
turned it
love
and turned it 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 and still turning it. And
Have you ever put that $250 back in your pocket yet?
Probably not. Oh, it may be in clothes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Jewelry.
Or a nice dinner when we go to market, maybe, or something like that. But it's years ago when I was around that corner before the guy came. This is the truth, and I probably shouldn't say this on video, but it's the honest to God truth. We were literally, it was so small, it was a gunshot. And we had this door that went to the bathroom, and we literally put a sheet over the bathroom door to make pictures, and we had one of those metal clip-on lights.
Like heat bulbs.
Yeah, nothing like our fancy lights now. And so needless to say, when you went to the potty, you couldn't shut the door. But we weren't a store at that time. We were basically warehouse, okay? Because I was doing shows. We would move in and move out and go back and forth, going to Oklahoma, Texas, you name it, Kentucky.
You just need somewhere to hang them, didn't you?
Well, and somewhere to potty, because you were like literally, you wouldn't leave the light on when you go in the potty, okay? So I was sitting there on the potty, and I'm rolling out the toilet paper, and I have this revelation. And I know this sounds funny, but I will never forget it because I knew it was like a real God thing. And I'm rolling this toilet paper out to wipe my tush, and
yeah, she said that online.
I did. And you know what? I was like, you could wipe your tail on $100 bills or toilet paper. It's nothing but paper. That's all it is. Yes,
it's important.
It's a point of contact that we have to have in this world. But you can't get focused on that stuff. You have to stay focused on what matters and what's important. So, no, I didn't wipe my tush on $100 bills.
Good.
But that really did something to me that day. It really made me
break it down.
Keep your focus on what matters and not on circumstances. Because let me tell you, circumstances are life. They're going to happen.
Life happens.
It sure does. Absolutely. And we just have to roll with it and
make the best of it.
Yeah. And we've had many ups and many downs. When I call and Tamisa, how was your day? She cringes to send me. They send me the totals every day if there's a 0 day. And needless to say, I cringe when I get it.
Yeah.
But it happens, and you hope that it doesn't. You hope that one day.
You're always hoping for the best.
Right. And we've been blessed. Don't get me wrong. We've been very, 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 very
fortunate. It is retail. We can't reach out and grab you. So the ideal of the lives was one way of reaching out and grabbing.
Right.
And that has done well. So
very much so. And we've been able to reach a lot more people and touch people in different parts of the country that we would have never done before.
Yeah, we do a lot of shipping, I think, now pretty well at all of our locations, don't we?
Absolutely.
So it's just been fabulous. Things have changed so much since I've been with the company. I can't imagine since you've started it,
And see, there's so much of it that I've just moved forward on and I've forgotten, I guess, a little bit, or blocked. Probably blocked.
Maybe we need to kind of block them.
But I do feel like this year something clicked, and we're going. I had a vision years ago for Felecia Bella, the largest distribution center in West Tennessee, right here in Rutherford. And we were the home office of Kelwood, and I'll never forget my buddy that passed. He told me, he called me one day and he said, Felecia, of course the factory's been almost tore down. It's sad,
barely hanging.
Sad. And I mean, and it was a big deal. Manufacturing plant,
Huge.
gave people jobs around here like crazy. And he called me and he goes, Felecia, you need to go up there and you need to put your hands on that door. Of course, there was hardly any glass left in the door. And you need to pray because God's going to bless you to be like that. And I'm like, okay. So immediately I did. All these people were lined up at school and he's pouring down rain, and here I am up there, and they're probably thinking, what is she
looking
doing?
at?
Whatever I got to do, guys.
Yes.
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
But gosh, there's been so many good times and so many stories. And I know we haven't even really begun yet at all. I feel like we've got so much more to see. But I think the thing I just would like to tell y'all, if you have a hope, you have a vision, you have a passion, a dream, don't let money stop you, because it's nothing but paper. You can wipe your tush on it. But you've got to be sold out. You got to know you're in for the long haul, because it may jump out and be amazing out of the gate. But there's going to come times where you're going,
the real door starts
these ramen noodles don't taste quite so bad after all.
Yeah.
It's just a different life. But I think that's what the backbone is of this country, and is small businesses.
Especially of being a business owner, and me being a past business owner. Responsibility is so much on you, and you feel it.
Oh, you
You
totally.
feel it from the
There's
time you wake up
times
till you go to bed.
I know I've told, Tamisa's really my psychiatrist on the side, thank God.
Dr. Spear.
But that's right, Dr. Spear. She hasn't sent me a bill yet, so I guess I'm doing pretty good.
It's just stacking up.
I know, right? I'm in big debt. But how many times have I called you and told you taught me off the bridge, jumping off the bridge? I go, I'm going to jump off the O'Brien County Bridge, and I've already seen my feet with, bricks on them.
She's like,
or whatever.
I'm done.
And the times that it's like, how are you going to make it through this? Or I used to have this like really feeling that I had been buried alive. I think I told you this.
Yes, you have.
And nobody knows I'm still alive, and I've got the straw, and I'm trying to get air out the grave because I'm so weighted down from all the stress and all the, that's where your faith comes in. That's where you just have to give it. And that's been a hard thing for me, because I am a control person. I don't think in a bad way, but it's more like, I want to fix it. I want to make it right. I want to make sure everything's okay. And maybe that's what's happened, is that I've gotten to the place to realize that, you know what, Felecia, you're not in control. You can't do this. If I don't tell you how to do it, if God doesn't tell me how to do it, it's not going to get done. So there's a map, And I would love if anybody wants to contact us or share or get in touch with us to really help you guys, speak encouragement, pray with you, talk to you, share with you. I mean, I'm not ashamed of the stories, because there's been
She will call and be on those, but there's no time she's calling me and she's so excited because something has happened and changed and came to her, and she feels good again. It's just sometimes I think we have to have somebody that we can just vent and get it off our chest, because your family you live with, and your family hears it day in and day out, and it has to stop. Where when you call someone else, like myself, then you can say whatever you want.
And saying that, one of the things too, I feel like you've got to be careful who's in your close circle. And my circle's gotten extremely small in that area, and I'm glad. I'm happy about that. I feel like that's a good thing.
Just because your heart is so big.
Well, I don't know about that.
Felicia's wants everybody in this big circle to be this intimate and close with her, and that's not how real world is. They all love you, but it's better to have it smaller.
Absolutely.
It's just easier to maintain, if that makes sense. than this outer.
That walking through that.
Everybody has to walk through this circle to get to this circle. And when you finally get there in life, it feels pretty daggone good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that comes with age and what you've been through in life.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, that carefree is this big, and it's just, and then as you get older, you do get wiser.
And I think you go into business sometimes thinking, okay, I have this talent, I have this gift, and it's all going to work, and it's going to be
We're all going to see the same page.
daisies every day coming up. It's going to be easy. And then you hit that first stumbling block, and then you're like, holy moly, what do I do now? What about the stores flooding? Bill and I had gone to market in Vegas, and the ice storm hit here several years ago, and literally we flew back into Memphis. And of course, we couldn't even drive home. It was so bad. And then Tamisa has to call me. She goes, well, you want the good news or the bad news? I said, just hit me.
It's horrible.
The whole ceiling caved in on the Union City
whole
store.
roof.
The whole roof. From the ice dams,
The weight.
is what they called them.
Yes.
And the same day, the same thing happened in Rutherford.
It was that was literally crying times.
And I had just come through my oldest son almost getting killed. Literally, we spent 2.5 weeks at the med. And it was like, God, how much more can I take? I mean, and I look back and I don't even remember so much of it but it all worked out. We brought everybody to the warehouse. We're all going through files for insurance, trying to figure out what we had in the store, what was this, what was that, but
we're back open.
It
played
worked.
out.
Yeah, it just worked. It was crazy.
It was.
And you look back over those things and you think, if I knew that was going to happen, I don't know if I could have done it. I just, and I know we all go through stuff like that, but
that is the ins and outs. When you see Felecia doing her live and she's in her groove, they're
being funny.
They're
That
looking
really
at
my
that
personality.
side of you and they think they don't realize there's the whole other Felecia Bella behind it. And that's one thing I wanted them to see today is there is that business side to you, that scared side, that
when you're doubled over and can't eat, or you're on the toilet because your stomach's so tore up, or you're throwing up, or you're
it's for real.
Josh was like, Mom, you got to start baking online. No, I don't want to know what's in there.
I know it makes you nervous. And then when it hits Friday after a certain time, and then they're closed on the weekends, you're like, whoo, I don't care what goes through. And then Sunday night, right for bed, I got to get the bacon.
President's Day, their mail won't run today. I don't get any bills. Hallelujah.
I know.
And then the next day they're this high, and you're like, okay.
My husband has to check the mailbox. That mail cannot sit in the mailbox overnight. Like it just,
us too.
and
I'm
it
that way
stresses.
too.
And I'm like, why? It's going to be the same bill in the morning. Why do we have to go get it tonight? Like I would just rather it stay in the mailbox. Let me get a good sleep tonight, and we'll deal with all that tomorrow.
Or better yet, you're so stressed. I've had this happen twice in 2 different instances, and once was not too long ago when the Rutherford store we closed it after COVID, and we sold the building, and that was a big thing for me.
Yes,
man, that was a big attachment to me.
Yeah,
and I knew I had to be obedient. I had to move forward, but it was really kind of funny because the last electric bill, which wasn't much because we hadn't been in there in 3 years, the girl called me. She goes, "They're fixing to turn you over to collections because you
I was
haven't
on the
paid."
phone with you that day.
I'm like, what? I hadn't even got a bill. What are you talking about, collections? I sold the store last month. Y'all must be hurting for money over there. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was like maybe $25.
Look, she was like, oh, I'm sorry. The bill just was mailed off like 2 days prior. Like she had made a big mistake.
She had just gotten a new promotion and she was trying to collect her money. And then the one time, I swear, I mailed the utility bill, and I kept swearing I mailed it. I swear I mailed it.
You can pay that online, you know.
Oh, hush, Joshua. So and I do some of it, but okay. So I'm literally getting my paperwork together for the taxes for the end of the year, and I put all my receipts together, and then the bookkeeper goes through them and gets it all together to go to the accountant that does all the, y'all know probably the chain of command. Well, guess where that utility bill was with a stamp on it in the paperwork with the bills I paid. I paid it. It never got to them, but it was in the paperwork. How many times we're lucky they didn't cut the water off, the utilities off?
They had faith in you.
No, they just sent me a double bill with interest on the
okay.
next payment.
Okay.
That was all it
Yeah,
was.
that
No
was
big
good.
deal. But and then the one time when one of the girls that was working for me, and we decided to take that little plane out of Atlanta. I mean, out of Jackson. Remember, they just opened up the plane, Leanne.
Yeah.
And so
Thank God I didn't go with you on that trip.
Oh my God, you would have had a breakdown because it
No,
was a little plane. I thought it was crazy, and we literally were sitting in the seats, and she's sitting facing me, and I'm sitting with my back to the pilot. And I got my purse sitting there between my legs wide open because there's nowhere else to put it. And she's turning green, and I'm thinking, she's going to barf in my purse any minute.
Oh,
Then we get to the airport. Wait a minute. The little airport, the private airport. And we had to take the train in Atlanta. Hello. I've never done this before in my life, and she sure hadn't. So all these people are looking at them, and we had this like red flag, like, tourists, stalk them. And so we get our bags, and we're trying to go get the train ticket to get on the train. Of course, we didn't know where the train was, so we're trying to figure out where the train is. We get off the train, and the guy that stalked us, do y'all need help? And then he tells us a story because he was looking for money, and of course, thank God he probably would have slit my throat. But anyway, but what was even funnier? So we get to the hotel, nice hotel, and the Atlanta market paid for our trip. But the problem was, Leanne made a little slight mistake and had our room the following night, so we had nowhere to stow
away at.
So we're sitting in the lobby. She goes, I can't believe I did that. And I really want to just go.
Yeah, at this point you're starting.
And I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're in Atlanta. We're homeless. We're downtown, and we don't know anything about the city. We know nothing. I don't even know how we got here on that train.
Yeah.
And so we sit there for a minute. So I called one of the reps, and he was buddies with the lady over the apparel mart. And I'm like, Richard, do you have two beds in your room? I said, Leanne and I may need the other bed tonight because we're homeless and we're sitting in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel downtown. And he's like, well, let me see what I can do. So, I mean, I was so naive at this point. I did have the app for Uber, okay? So I thought, okay, we're just going to have to go online, and we're going to have to go stay somewhere in the outskirts of Atlanta. Right. We're going to have to Uber there. So we go online, we find one, and we get an Uber. Well, about the time the Uber comes to pick us up, my buddy calls me and he goes, the lady at the apparel mart has got y'all booked at the presidential suite at whatever. I mean, I'm talking, we were whining and dining.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, girl. We was hobnobbing up there with the presidential the next morning. 2 minutes we're homeless. The next 30 minutes we're like in the presidential suite. So we get in the Uber, and I said, look, bud, I knew nothing about Uber. I knew nothing how it works. I said, listen, I'm going to pay you for that trip to Buckhead for our hotel. You just charge me for it. I'll tip you, whatever I got to do. But I just need you to drive me around the corner. It was like, okay, I can handle that. So next morning, obviously, we had to check out, and that's when we got back into our hotel. But oh my God, the stories. And then you and I going to Vegas, your first trip to Vegas. And Tamisa don't fly too well, okay? And of course, Vegas.
That's a nice way to put it.
And so here we go again with the Uber. And we're like schlepping all this luggage, because we don't pack light. Because we take empties for the cash and carry to bring home.
For goodies.
That's right. That's right. So we're schlepping it up to try to find out, which obviously it's not the cab line, so it's the Uber. So you got to walk 40 miles to get to the Uber. So we got our little Uber, and here he comes. He's in an SUV and blah, 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 blah. We get in the Uber. Tamisa, I'll never forget her grabbing my leg. And he had this.
Because I'm in first, and I slide over. Go ahead.
He had all this stuff hanging like.
Black skulls.
Yeah, but what was it? Like tinsel, like you put on a tree.
Like
but
for Halloween. You know how Halloween, how they'll have that, like the tinsel, like a garland?
It was skull. And then he had a rat on his, like a plastic.
Rat.
Ugly rat.
Of all things.
Tamisa's going, what have you got me into?
Oh.
Trust me, it's going to be okay. It's okay. We're going to the Palazzo. Here we are with a rat and the skulls, and we're going to the Palazzo.
Now, I took pictures in there in case they ever found our body. Maybe they could get the evidence off of my phone.
And he was from Where was he?
from?
Yeah, from where they smoke the cigars. What was it?
Where was he from?
Oh, come on! It's part Cuba. He was Cuban, and that was some of their Cuban stuff.
Yeah, and he had this music playing too that just kind of seemed.
It was Caleb from
Yeah.
the Lord Jesus, and I'm like, oh my God.
Because Felecia has to, I don't even want to talk to him. Like, I'm terrified. Felecia has to
After
carry
that,
on
she's like, I think I
conversation.
need a drink.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where we're going, but it bested Bob one because that was scary.
It was bad.
But it wasn't as bad as the other guy that rode us around it. No, tried to make us get out at
Oh yeah,
closed.
we took a Uber
That
to
was
meet
in
some of the
Vegas.
reps at a restaurant, and he tried to put us in this parking lot. that
abandoned.
I think
It
he
said
had
this
just
is-
got off the boat.
This is your stop. And I went, and I just look out the window like, no. Felicia's like, no. Our hearts start pounding. Yes, this is your stop.
Can you just take us back to the hotel, please?
Felicia said, well, this isn't it. We've changed our mind. We don't want to go out and eat anymore. We're going to hit the hotel. You'll just take us
Take us
back.
back.
Hearts pounding. He was not happy.
We've had some fun times, but
We've
there's
had
been
some
a lot of
fun.
stressful ones too.
Yeah.
But yeah. But all in all,
Would you do it again?
oh yeah.
That's good.
I don't know. I would do it again if I started back when I started back at my age now, having to go through all that, and knowing I had to go through it. I don't know.
But no.
But you know what? You know in your heart, and I've said this so many times, and it's so true. That is what God's called me to do, and I fully believe if you guys, now I'm going to speak some positive to you. If you have that gift and you know that's what you're supposed to do, in my mind with me, if I don't do what I'm called to do, I won't live to see it, because that's what I'm called to do. So, yeah, all this has been part of the journey.
The rocky roads is worth it.
I'll never forget when this all started and I moved back to Rutherford, and I had been doing shows before that, and I'll never forget going in the grocery store. I don't know where the story's coming from, but it's very, very alive in my mind to this day. And we had been living in Memphis, in Germantown, because we'd lived all over the country, which was a very much a blessing, because I could do my business wherever with Bill's work. And I will never, so I would go shop at Whole Foods and all the health food stores, because I'm a big herb person. And I go in the grocery store and I'm like, where's the 5 grain bread or the wheat bread? And they're like,
Where is your bread, period?
we got white bread. I called my friend, I said, oh my God, you better pray for me. I'm going to have to come once a week. These people are all going to have colon cancer. All they got's white bread. They're going to be glued together. She just died laughing at me. Of course, today Joshua made me a sandwich out of white bread. And I was like, why did you make me? I don't eat white bread.
Probably all they had.
Isn't that the truth? But yeah, it's been an adventure, and I'm thankful. Many times I was like, but I love it, and gosh, we get to hang out and do fun stuff, and then look at all the people we've met.
I know. And you really do feel like
Their family.
you've changed their lives too. And they've changed yours during the path too, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
Bill was just in an accident and at work, and I shared it, and I had so many reps sending me messages from New York, from Miami, from Atlanta, from all over the country. How is he? What's going on? We're praying for you. So we play together, we hang together, we struggle together, because it's like the chain. If the stores and the economy's not doing well or whatever, then nobody's buying, so the reps aren't making any money, and then the manufacturers are cutting back, so you can't. It's just a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So I guess the one thing I could say to you guys, I will be here to help you, encourage you, but if you have a choice between going big box or small business, always go small business, because you're making a difference in a family, in a person, in a life. And you know what? Most of the time, that's not just sitting there. It's not filling their pockets fat full of cash,
Yeah.
or toilet paper. Basically, it's making a difference, because that money is used, and that point of contact is used to do other things with goals and visions and dreams and purposes.
And I will say, anybody that has been around you for any amount of time, feel the love that you have.
You're gonna make me cry. Stop.
No, it's true. It's true. People feel it. People know it. It just radiates off of you. So it's a blessing that you do what you do. That has also brought me into your world to do what I do, and I love it. So thank you for that. And that comes from everybody that.
I'll never
works
forget
for you.
when I first moved back to Rutherford, and of course I'm different. I'm artsy, and how I dress or express myself, purple hair. It's not because it's show. It's just who
Not
you
for
are.
attention.
No, God no.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. I'd go in the bank, and this woman would look me up and down like, "Is she doing drugs? Is she working the corner at midnight? What's the scoop here?" You know. But I came with such a zest for the business and
Yes.
doing something here, because I fully believe this area is so prime for good things to happen and come from it. And there are good things happening and coming from it, but there's so much more that's on the way. And I believe that. And I just, if we could just be, I guess I could say this on live. My granny used to say, like the old woman peeing in the ocean, every little bit helps.
Yep.
That's what my granny used to say, and I hang to that. I know it may not be the most business-oriented or philosophy out there, but it's true. If we can just be a hand in something, every little bit helps, and that's how we make the difference. So I'm excited about doing our show. We're going to have a lot of guests on here. We're through talking about me, right?
Yes.
If y'all have questions, you can message us.
Yes.
But we're so excited. We have so many guests
Yes.
lined up to be on the show. We've
Yes.
actually already filmed a couple of them.
Got big ideals for
I
it.
know. Y'all just get ready.
It's exciting. We just kind of want you to see a little bit of the backside of it, just to start it off.
Right, right. You need to know who we are and where
The heart of it,
who we really are. I mean,
not what you thought you knew or didn't
No.
never know.
never.
So,
I mean, but I just want to encourage you guys. It's the year. Get your heart right. I'm working on mine.
and I'm working on mine apparently.
Oh, every day it's a
Every day,
journey.
every
But if
day
we
it
don't
is.
learn and grow every day, then we might as well
Then
be
what
gone.
are we doing?
Right. You might as
I
well just be gone. And we have lost a lot, but I lost a lot of folks and a lot of things in the past few years. So it's time to regroup. It's time to encourage and speak life. And
Come together.
yes,
This dividing
Hold
and
hands.
separation is not working for the world. We need to all come
and
together.
fear. My gosh, the fear is astronomical.
I agree.
And you have to really catch that and get rid of it, release it, and let it go, because it will consume you and it will
Yes.
eat you up like disease. Emotional disease. I mean, look how many people we've had this past year
Yeah.
pass away from mental illness, and it's feeling unworthy, fear of the future, fear of whatever, rejection, pain, hurt, all those evil things that are not what we're supposed to walk in. We're supposed to walk in our blessing and the gifts and to touch other people's lives.
So maybe with this show we can help day by day.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to be on the show, contact us. Let us know. We want to hear your story. And if you have a voice to speak to the world and share with them some of your love and there's no big I's and there's no little U's. We're all a part of this game. And we've all got a purpose to fulfill, and we've all got differences to make, and each of us have gifts. I'm gonna kind of end this with one thing. When we first moved back to Rutherford, this story just came up to me when I did this. Joshua knows what I'm going to tell. He's behind the camera laughing. I will never forget. Jordan was little. Joshua was extremely little. And it was Bill and Mom and myself. And I don't know why. God just gave me this idea. I had went and I said, okay, we're having a family. Come to Jesus is what I'd call it. And we go down in the living room and we sit down there, and I'm on the stool, and I got a coffee cup. And I said, okay. I picked the coffee cup up, and I said, if I'm the thumb, the glue that holds it all together, I pick that cup up empty. If I pick it up with stuff in it, it's going to spill. But then I said, if you're the pinky, and your job is to take the trash out, because the kids were young, and they vacuumed and cleaned and helped, because Lord knows we were working all the time. I mean, owning your own business is 24 hours a day, pretty much. If you're the pinky, you be the best pinky. You be the best garbage picker upper. You be the best dishwasher. You be the best at what you are. If you're this finger, whatever finger or part you are, it doesn't make you any more or any less. It takes the whole hand to pick the cup up. And that's who we are as a company, I feel like. And I feel like that's our purpose, is to share that with others, because there are no big I's and little U's in my
I
world.
agree.
There's not. Other than Jesus. I mean, that's the big I, the big Papa. But other than that, here we are, and we have to work together, and we have to come together in unity and to be the best, no matter what finger you are.
Yep.
Or what
I
piece
agree.
of the puzzle you are.
I agree. You're important.
You are. And sometimes, like, when you're in business and, you know, this is like a mosaic here tile on this table. But if there was this big part missing of this flower right here, it wouldn't be as pretty as it
It would be
is.
the same.
No. So sometimes people are called to be a part of your inner circle or your team or whatever, and because of their lack of obedience or whatever, and if that's you, you're holding back the puzzle, you're holding back the beauty. You know, so I think it's time in this day that we do look in the mirror and we look at ourselves and we do an inventory of our hearts and our souls and our minds, and we go, am I really being the part that I need to be for what God's called me to be?
Yes.
Because one person, we're not Hercules, we're not going to win the war alone.
Yes.
I agree, we have superpowers.
Well, amazing. But it's not as much fun.
Right. And you know, everybody's important. You may think you're not, and you think you're very insignificant. That is far from true. Far. There's somewhere deep down in there,
Yeah.
something amazing.
Yes.
It just
I
needs
agree.
to be pulled out
Yeah.
and brought forth. Okay, so with that, I think, did I answer your question from 30 minutes
Yes.
ago?
Yes, you did. Yes.
I went around the world.
I think we got there.
Yep, I think we did too. So anyway, guys, thank you for
Thanks.
watching us. Teresa and I are
Being with us
so excited about being.
Oh, we've got so much coming, so just get ready.
Not only just the backside of the business and the people we're going to bring in and interview. We got some of the most beautiful things coming in, clothing-wise, and y'all are going to be.
If you're not familiar with Felecia Bella, you need to go check out the pages on
Yes.
Facebook, online, and see what
Most
it's about.
definitely go to the stores, because y'all are going to get treated
Yes.
like queens. Teresa and Madeline and Linton, these women, I just want to go in there and get pampered, okay? Because they treat them like queens. I mean, when I go there, I'm like chopped liver, okay? Because they treat y'all like queens. So you don't want to miss that. Sorry, somebody just walked in the door. Just a hair of a distraction there. Anyway, we love y'all. Be sure and do what Teresa said.
Yes, yes.
Which
Join
was,
in.
thank you.
Yes. Join in. Make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.